Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am currently in the middle of nowhere. It's incredibly windy and I have been driving this. This is the GWM Great Wall Motors P series, otherwise known as the P300. You get the 300 and you get the 500. This does happen to be the top of the range model in the P300 lineup. So it does have 4x4, it does have an independently locking rear differential, and of course, it's a 2.4 litre turbo diesel engine, and I'm so happy to hear that. I drove the hybrid electric and the 500, it was okay, but this one's the one to get. Now, I did drive the original P series way back when. It was probably like, I think 2 years ago, it was a while ago. Of course, I unfortunately didn't have a video of it back then, but anyways, this is the new one. This is called the 300. We do have new daytime running lights. A pretty new design in the front. I like it quite a lot. It's a difference between like an urban, rugged look. We do have a bull bar for the extra bit of safety. And the grille, on the other hand, is a little bit similar in shape. But we do have the front camera situated dead center in the middle of the logo. The car does have a 360-degree camera system. But one thing I will say is that underneath here is the 2.4 litre turbo diesel 4-cylinder engine. And I'm so happy it has this because I drove the hybrid electric version of the P500. It was good, but not the best. This is by far a million times better. I would 100% opt for this every single time. Now, what's interesting with this engine is I've been averaging a fuel consumption of 10 litres per 100 kilometers with city driving and highway driving, quite a lot of city driving though. But the moment I get onto the highway, I'm getting low 8s. I even got high 7s, the one to like 7.9 litres per 100. But about 8.1, even 8.8 is pretty expected. And I find that quite incredible considering the engine that it is. It does produce 135 kilowatts as well as 480 Newton meters of torque. So towing capacity is 3.5 tons. So the side profile, firstly, I hope I'm not a little bit too off center on the screen. We are on a bit of a decline. But anyway, side profile, this thing is huge. So here in South Africa, we call it a bakkie. In Australia, you guys call it a ute. Here it's a bakkie. It's just this kind of slang term that we've picked up from our Afrikaans language because we have 11 official languages. So Afrikaans is one of them and it's called a bakkie. It just says what it is. We know it's a double cab utility vehicle. First cab, second cab, the loading bin, utility vehicle, but it's a bakkie here, guys. So we have 18-inch alloy wheels, which look really nice. We have a very rugged side step as well as, of course, roof racks. So if you do want to put on a roof box, you can, or roof racks or whatever you want to, you can. What's also interesting is the car also has a sunroof. So that's the differentiating factor with GWM. They like to put sunroofs on bakkies and anything else really, because why not? It's what the people want. Might as well give it to them. And as we go back, we do have rear bars, as well as this vehicle itself comes with a tonneau cover. Press vehicles don't always come with tonneau covers or rolling shutters or whatever. It just isn't really a thing. So it's nice to see that this one does have it. Okay, so I just want to show you the rear of this in particular because GWM have a few little quirky differences compared to Ford, Toyota, Volkswagen, Nissan, and whichever brand you can think of that make double cab vehicles. So on the P500, you had a tailgate which doubled up as a barn door, so it could also go down as well as open up. On the 300, it is your traditional tailgate, except in order to make it easier to climb in and out of, they've given you a step. So you can literally just hop on and hop in. So yeah, pretty different. I do think it's a nice quirky little feature to have. Of course, it is a bit useless if you do have the tonneau cover on, but hell, I mean, it makes life easier getting on the back of this thing. But yeah, another thing I just want to add before I do forget, this has a 78 litre fuel tank. And look, I've been driving a lot. I've only literally just cracked the half a fuel tank mark. I've already done like 450 odd kilometers. So I'm sure you could actually, if you drive well or if you do a lot of highway driving, you could easily get 1,000 odd kilometers out of this tank of fuel. And I find that pretty cool. So what I will say so far is, yes, it does have hard suspension, but probably not as hard as a Hilux. I will just add that. Although what I will say as well is the only Hilux I've really driven is the GR Hilux, and that has upgraded suspension. So that Hilux suspension is very good. It's very comfortable, and they've done a very good job. On the more traditional normal Hilux, I don't know about the new Legend 55, but this would probably be like a little bit better, just in terms of comfortability. Also, don't forget, guys, this car does come as standard with normal road tires, not all-terrains. I wish they gave them with BF Goodrich all-terrains. That'd be awesome. It would make it look a whole lot better. But anyways, this is more of your luxury bakkie. It obviously can go off-road. It is meant to go off-road. But if you do take it off-road, please throw some all-terrain tires on there, that'd be great. But as I said, I think just in terms of normal everyday driving, it's probably a little bit more comfortable than a Hilux. So if we hop into the interior of the P300, what I will say, it's a pretty cool place to be. There is synthetic leather everywhere. Look, I think we've gotten to a point in terms of cars and car manufacturers these days opting for more synthetic recycled materials, so we're kind of getting used to it. I do understand in terms of premium vehicles and luxury vehicles, real leather is quite a big touch point, so especially your German car manufacturers. But from a Chinese company, I think this is pretty normal. And look, I don't think it's really that bad. You can't really complain too much about it. It feels very good, it's extremely comfortable, and it does what it needs to do. So let's get to it. The front seats and rear seats are all leather, number one, synthetic leather. Secondly, the front seats are heated, so that's great. I do wish they were probably ventilated, but it will bump up the cost of the car. The car does cost 700,000 Rand. It is a top of the range model. But as we move on, we have a digital instrument cluster in front of me. We do have an infotainment screen, which does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both wirelessly. The sound system of the car is a Dolby sound system. So as far as I understand, there is a Dolby surround sound system involved here. So it's not a Sony or a Yamaha or Burmeister or anything like that. It's directly integrated with GWM. I think they've used it in quite a few of their vehicles, so they have that. It's really not that bad. I do just wish there was a physical volume dial somewhere and not just only the controls on the steering wheel, because that does get a little bit annoying. And there's also a bit of latency in terms of how quickly it responds. The steering wheel actually does feel great. I do quite like the look of it, especially the logo in the center. It's great. The hooter is fantastic. It's got a mean hooter. But anyways, the car does come with adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist and forward collision warning and all those fantastic ADAS systems to keep you and your family safe. Obviously, you can turn them off, but I don't know to what degree. Nonetheless, as we move on, in the center here, we have actual AC buttons, so air control buttons, and that's a big thing because a lot of manufacturers have been doing this thing where they actually put the air conditioning controls within the touchscreen, and that is the most annoying thing in the world. So the fact that they're physical buttons is a plus, it's a thumbs up. The car does have hill descent control as well. It is, of course, a 4x4, so you have 4 low, independently locking rear differential, as well as 3 auxiliary buttons. So if you do, of course, want to hook up some spotlights or anything, you can wire them directly to the aux buttons, which is pretty cool. The car does come with 3 different driving modes known as Eco, Sport, and Comfort. Eco is what you kind of expect. The throttle response isn't that great, but it's fine for highway driving, especially with cruise control on. Normal is a good place to be. I drive it normal most of the time, and then Sport just kind of puts it in a very violent mood. The car just wants to go. So yeah, Sport is really when you really want to get up and get going. Otherwise, Comfort will do the job happily. The car is paired up to a 9-speed automatic gearbox. And yes, 9 gears is quite a lot. It is not as many as the 10 gears that you do get in the Ford Ranger or the Ford Mustangs or the Ford Everests. I do understand why they have it. It does help with fuel consumption at the end of the day. It really does, especially highway driving. It's the way it works. The mirror over here is automatic, so it will dim, of course, lights coming from the rear of the car. If there are cars behind you with their lights on or brights on, it won't affect your eyes as bad. And yeah, the car does have a 360-degree camera system. I don't know what else to show you. There are 2 cup holders over here. The center glove compartment is enormous with an actual vent for your air-conditioned air to slot on through. So if you do have some cool drinks with you, a couple of Red Bulls or Coca-Colas or whatever, just shove them there. Yeah, let's hop to the back. So now that I'm inside the back of the P300, let me give you some context for sizing. I'm 5'7". This is in my driving position, and there's quite a lot of legroom. There isn't too much headroom, but you do see the roofline kind of concaves a little bit to give you that extra bit of headroom. We have, of course, a center armrest. No cup holders here, interestingly enough, but there are cup holders in the doors. And there are 2 charging ports over here, although there are only USB male, no USB-C. So there's going to be a bit of a conversation about that. Then, of course, we have our aircon vents, and we have some storage compartments to just store things. But yeah, back seat's really comfortable. Yeah. Guys, it's a bucky. I don't know what you want me to tell you. It's a bucky. It does what it does. It does the things. It's cool at the end of the day. But yeah. So in terms of driving, look, it does everything pretty well. So just for example, I'll go in a little bit of off-road patch. I am in the normal driving mode, otherwise known as comfort, and no, nothing changes in terms of suspension settings when you do change the driving modes. It's a good old-fashioned 4x4. The rear suspension consists of leaf springs, so it's very rugged, it's built to last, and they understand that about buckies here in South Africa. So GWM are doing not such a bad job so far. So in terms of throttle response, so right now if I put my foot flat, there we go, she gets up, she gets going. And what I will say is that, look, with any turbo diesel car or vehicle or whatever, there's always turbo lag. It's very standard now. But if you shove this over into sport, things are a little bit more lively. The car just wants to go, go, go. And what's also really nice is they've kind of mapped the software in such a way that when you are in sport mode, it will stay in the gear for as long as possible, give you the highest revs possible, the way it should be with any kind of sports car. So thumbs up, good thing that they got that right. Not a lot of manufacturers do focus on that, but it is quite a big thing. And just in terms of general comfort, I mean, I've been driving this every day now for a week. It leaves tomorrow morning, and it's as comfortable as can be. The only time you really feel the suspension, because it is stiff, is when you are off-road. Other than that, it's perfect. It's fantastic for city driving. Yeah, it is big, it is a bucky, but you don't actually notice it. You really notice it in the P500. It's extremely noticeable there. But also in terms of power delivery, I mean, the 2.4 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder diesel engine is GWM built. It produces 135 kilowatts as well as 418 Newton meters of torque. And as I said, I way prefer it to the hybrid electric. This is just much better. It's also more fuel economic. It's also just a little bit more predictable in terms of the power delivery and the torque delivery. It's just better. Now, for me, in terms of everyday functionality, the wireless charger works great. It's not really cool. There does seem to be a bit of a vent there to cool your phone down, but I don't know, it just isn't really working the way it's supposed to be for me. There is a USB male charging port as well as a USB-C charging port. So you can charge your phone or an extra device there alongside your phone, which is fantastic. In terms of the driver's side, there is no handle here. Instead, this is actually a place to put your sunglasses, and that's actually quite convenient. I just need to get sunglasses now. The curse of having prescription glasses. It's very cool. I like it quite a lot. I like the road presence that you have. You don't get bullied on the road driving this thing. And that is quite a big plus. In terms of the 9-speed automatic gearbox, yeah, it's good. It's very good. What I will say is when you do put your foot down to really get the power, it takes a bit of a millisecond for it to kind of gauge which gear to downshift into. But once it's there, it just gets going. The gearbox is good. It's not sluggish. It's not trying to figure out if it is a gearbox or an oven or whatever the case is. It just knows what its job is, and it gets the job done pretty well. Now, of course, in terms of parking the thing, yes, it is very big. I don't even park in my garage because it doesn't fit. But it does have a 360-degree camera system as well as park distance control in the rear. I do think there is park distance control in the front. It just kicks in quite a bit late, so I just rely more on the cameras than the sensors themselves. The car is pretty maneuverable. It does just take some time to park it in quite tight-knit places. Other than that, it looks quite nice. This color is Mars Red. I'm quite a big fan of it. But yeah, I do think GWM have done a very good job with the P300, especially this being the top of the range model. And it's only 699,000 Rand. And I say only because if you look at other buckies of the sector, top of the range versions are 1 million to 1.3, 1.4 million Rand. So yes, Ford Raptor, I am looking at you. But what I will say is next week I do get the Ford Ranger, the XLT. And I think they have like 6 different variants of the Ranger in their lineups. The XLT is the second one. So I'll see what that's like in comparison to this. It'll be quite interesting for me. But all in all, GWM do a very good job, guys. Very good job. And I'm very impressed with the diesel engine. I think that they have nailed that on the head. They've done a good job for what it is. Very well done. And one last thing I want to add, the aircon system in this is fantastic. So if I put it full blast, it's just the best. So yeah, especially on a hot day like it has been today. It's been about 28 degrees here in South Africa, in Johannesburg. And this aircon has come in handy. So yeah, this is an awesome car to get, and I love the fact that if you put any beverages in the center console here, the aircon there keeps it cold as well. So this is really a great car for South African climate. They've thought that through very well. So thumbs up. So guys, I do just want to say, if you did get this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe for more, and send this video to a friend if you think it's going to be of value to someone. If someone's looking to get a P300 or a P500, I'll link my 500 video up at the top. But if someone's considering getting the 500 or the 300, please send these videos to them just so they can be a little bit more informed on what they could be expecting. The 500's great, it's just a bit too big for me, especially the hybrid electric one. That's the one I drove. I think the 300 is perfect. It's still big, but it gives you the bucky feel. The 500's nice, but the 500 is too luxury for me. So sport mode, foot flat, 50, 60, 70, and 80. So it does get up and get going, but it's not going to break the world land speed record at the end of the day. It does have a diesel engine, a 2.4 liter diesel engine. But the 135 kilowatts and 480 Newton meters of torque, it's more than enough. But yeah, guys, really, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Catch you soon.